In this video, I'm going to talk about some of the prominent features of Samsung Galaxy S3. I was really blown away with the features when I used the phone for the first time. It's packed with very rich features. It's got quad-core processor at 1.4 gigahertz. It's got 1 GB RAM. Internal storage starts at 16 gigabyte, and it has micro SD slot. It's got all types of sensors you could think of, like accelerometer, gyroscope, barometer, proximity sensor, ambient light sensor. It's got GPS, ABG, and wireless, yeah, Bluetooth 4.0, just a lot of stuff. One set of really awesome features that I came across are the features known as motion. You could really enjoy your phone with this. So let's have a look. So the first test that I'm going to do with this Samsung Galaxy S3 is of course a boot up test. Boot up test for this time, it took about 28 seconds. I'm of course speeding up the clip, but it took like 28 seconds or so. A very simple and nice interface. Swipe to unlock. You could swipe toward the apps at the bottom and you just open those up like the phone or the camera. Right away we're gonna get into the settings. You have your Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, then you have your data usage, where you could limit the usage of data per you need if you have a limited data plan. Let's go to sound. This is your sound for the phone, the volume, vibration, all those kind of settings. Let's go back. Display. You have your brightness, screen timeout. So I'm gonna just leave the brightness to the maximum, and then the automatic brightness, that uses the ambient light. Smart stay is something that goes hand to hand with screen timeout. If you have a screen timeout set at, let's say, 15 seconds, after 15 seconds it's going to look at the front camera, is going to scan for an eye, and after 15 seconds if it detects an eye movement or a face, then it's not going to continue to remain on. The screen is going to remain on. If it doesn't detect, then the screen is going to turn off. Then you have your touch key, light duration, font, auto adjust tone, and all that kind of rest of the display related to the screen. Then you have your gyroscope. Next you go to wallpaper. You have your home screen, lock screen, gallery. Could do a live wallpaper or just a static picture, up to you. So Android was always unique to this. We don't see this kind of screensaver till this day on iOS 6 on iPhone devices. Then you have LED indicator for charging, low battery or missed events, and so on. All right, now we're going to go back into the settings, and we're going to start our motion video. Motion is a really awesome feature of the Galaxy. This may be a selling point. Motion activation, you need to turn that on, just like Siri was a selling point for iPhone since iPhone 4S. This, I think, should have been a selling point for Galaxy. They should really marketize this, advertise this. I really haven't seen this till now. First you have a direct call. Direct call is simply if you pick up the phone when the contact is on your display, then you just bring that to your ear, it dials automatically. So these kind of little things makes your life easy. Smart alert. Smart alert is something, if you miss a text or a call, and as soon as you pick up your phone, based on that movement, based on that movement of gyroscope detects it, I guess. I will show you the alerts. Double tap to top. So if you're on a big list, or if at a website, I think it works only on the list. So if you're at the bottom of a list, if you double tap on top like this, then it will go all on top of the screen. So that is smart and convenient. Again, as you can see, double tap goes on top. I haven't tested if it's applicable for the browser yet. Tilt to zoom. Again, this is a really cool feature. I'm going to show you. So you got to use two of your thumbs or just two fingers in a on an image, and you can zoom just by making that gesture like that. Zoom in and out into a picture, and based um, on the location of the region of the picture you place your thumbs, it will zoom into that area. So it's not just gonna go in one direction. So that is really cool. So let's try this. Next feature is pan to move icon. So if you have an icon on your home screen, any of the pages, you just hold and tap and hold, and then you can just swipe it either to the left or the right, and it will go to the pages that's to the left or the right. So that is pretty cool. Watch as I hold it and I move it to the right or left, it changes the page, the screen page. So again, that is something really cool and smart. I'm gonna go to settings and quickly change the wallpaper because the background is kind of annoying. Simply go to settings and get wallpaper, and then the gallery, and then change it. I'm gonna change it to something light. Next item in motion is pan to browse. So again, if this is for pan to browse image. So the way it works is if you hold on to an area of a picture, based on the gesture to the right, left, or up and down, you can move around the picture and see all I guess the picture in all four directions. So that is something very cool as well. You could zoom in. I could have a zoomed in state and then just use the finger and then just pan around left, right, up, down, however you please. Next item is shake to update. So you could go into the Bluetooth or the Wi-Fi menu, and then if you simply shake your phone, it will update or research basically for Bluetooth or Wi-Fi and things like that. So again, this is how it works. Simply shake the phone if you're on a Bluetooth menu and look for your available devices, and then if you have available wireless Wi-Fi nearby and all of that stuff. Next up in motion is turn over to mute. This is a very practical and useful feature because you could be in a meeting or even at night. It's very hard to locate the vibration button or the power button, but you can easily turn over your phone wherever you are. So that is very cool. We're just going to do a test. The phone is incoming, and I simply, as I place it over my palm, and the phone goes to silence. So that is very, very awesome and useful. Next is hand motions. If you use your palm and then swipe it across or slide it across the screen, either from right to left or left to right, it's gonna take a screenshot. So that is very awesome, and it's better than iOS because on iOS on iPhones you would have to hold on to the power button and the home button at the same time for you to get a screenshot. But for this, just with you swiping your palm, this just makes it much more easier. So as I swipe it, it just took that picture, and I can easily view it in the gallery. So that is very useful and cool as well. And that concludes our list of motion features. And then we're going to just go down the list. It's got power savings. It can reduce the maximum performance of the CPU, lower the screen brightness, and change the background color. Then you have your storage, and it's going to show you how much information you used for apps and games and pictures and movies and things like that. Then you have your application manager. We can manage your application. You could see how many of them are downloaded and how many you can, I guess, all of the applications. Some of them you can, the factory installed ones you cannot uninstall, but the ones that you download, you could uninstall them easily. Then you have your account settings where you have your Gmail, you could sync up and all of that. It has social network features. It has LDAP and Microsoft Exchange. Then you have location services. You could have use your wireless and GPS and as well as Google services. Then in the security, there's an extensive type of security. You have your swipe, motion, face detection, and a lot of the cool stuff. Face detection is low security, but I really like this feature. I'm not gonna set it up here, but it's simply you just take a picture, and as you take a picture of yourself, it recognizes it, and then next time it I guess simply matches your face with the picture that you've taken earlier, and that's how the face detection works. For face detection, you it's advisable for you to type in a password as well, because if it cannot detect your face, then it could at least log in with a password. Next feature is pretty handy as well. That's the lock screen option. So on the lock screen, you can set aside what kind of information you can see. If you want to see a camera quick access, app button, or do you want to see a clock, or if you could create your own shortcut to a settings or application or a website, that is very awesome. So right away, as you would unlock the screen, you could directly go to that app or that shortcut or that clock or that settings. So that is very handy. The Samsung has something else called encryption. So you could encrypt your device to make it more secure, but the encryption process takes an hour, and every time you log into your phone, it's going to require that password. But I don't know how much it's really practical for everyday user. Next, you have your language settings. You have all these languages: English, Spanish, French. Then you have your keyboard input. So that's very cool. You could have your Google Voice input or your Samsung keyboard. Then there's something called voice recognizer. So that is something new, because you have your Google voice recognition as well as your Samsung recognition, and you're always stuck with only one version of that within iOS, which is Siri. Then you have under the accessories, accessory, you have the HDMI audio settings, followed by your date and time settings. Then you have your accessibility. Under the accessibility, you have your lot of extra options like speaking the passwords and talking back. Talkback feature talks back basically, audibly whatever you touch. And lastly, you have your device information. This tells you this has Android Jelly Bean. That's 4.1. The phone keys are pleasant to type, and there's very large fat display, so it's just fluid and it just works really nice, and it's sensitive. Play Store, just a quick peek. Play Store has always been the same, and every device is the same because it's the main central hub. So there's nothing different here. Apps, music, movies, and books, and all of that kind of stuff is available at the Play Store. For the limited browsing test that I've done, as I was pinching and zooming, specifically when I was zooming out, I was pinching the screen. It was setting the screen up. It was shrinking the tab as if I was gonna, open a new tab or something. So I didn't like that part of the browsing experience. Then you're gonna go to YouTube. The YouTube experience is very same or similar to as it is on iPhones and iDevices. I'm just gonna play something. It plays in portrait mode, and you'd have to rotate your screen in landscape mode to see it in full screen. So as I mentioned earlier, this is the front-facing HD camera at 720p. It's got right next to it you see a LED notification and a proximity sensor. And this is the rear camera, HD camera. It's 8 megapixel with autofocus. On one side of it you have the LED flash, and on the other side you have the speaker. So, what are my final thoughts about this S3? I think S3 easily beats iPhone 5. It has, I know iPhone iOS devices always had these similar sensors like proximity sensors and accelerometer and gyroscope and things like that, but they always were focusing against use those features or hardware for gaming purposes only, primarily. But Samsung, for the first time, it seems that have allowed the usage of those hardware for everyday people, just turning the phone over for muting it, and then picking it up for dialing it, and then you have all the smart stays and things like that. That just makes your life very easy, and I personally like this phone better than my iPhone 5. Put a comment down below if you guys have switched to Android or S3, and what you guys think about this phone.